All right, America, let's talk about taxes. It's one of those things, like death and finding your car keys, that's unavoidable. But unlike those other joys, taxes actually pay for stuff we need. Roads, taxes. Schools, taxes. That sweet, sweet military might? You guessed it, taxes. Now before you zone out and start thinking about puppies or whatever brings you joy, hear me out. Understanding how taxes work is crucial, like knowing how to change a tire or operate a coffee machine. It's essential for navigating adulting in this great nation of ours. We're talking about your hard-earned cash, people. Money you busted your hump for. So, buckle up as we dive into the wild world of taxes, from their historical roots to how to avoid giving Uncle Sam more than his fair share. This is your guide to keeping more of what you earn and understanding where your money goes. Because let's face it, knowledge is power, and when it comes to taxes, we could all use a little more power to the people. Let's rewind to the good old days, back when America was just a twinkle in the founding fathers' eyes. Early colonists, those rebellious souls, weren't too keen on taxes imposed by the British Crown. Remember the Boston Tea Party? Yeah, taxes were a pretty big deal.
Fast forward to 1776 and boom! The Declaration of Independence, freedom, liberty. Also, the need to figure out how to fund this whole running a country thing. Enter the first federal taxes, mostly on imports and whiskey. Yes, whiskey. Turns out our forefathers liked a good drink as much as the next guy.
Over the centuries, our tax system has gone through more changes than a chameleon in a disco. The Civil War brought us income tax, but it was temporary. Then came the Roaring Twenties, followed by the not-so-roaring Great Depression. Suddenly, income tax was back, baby, and this time it was here to stay. From Social Security in the New Deal era to the tax cuts of the Reagan years, our tax code has been a constant tug-of-war between funding government programs and putting more money back in taxpayers' pockets. And let's not forget the loopholes and deductions that popped up along the way, making the system more complex than a Rubik's Cube designed by Einstein. Now, let's zoom out and see how the US stacks up against other countries when it comes to taxes. Are we getting fleeced compared to, say, our friends across the pond in the UK? Or those cool cats in Canada? The truth is, it's complicated.
See, different countries have different ideas about what taxes should pay for. Some prioritize universal healthcare, others invest heavily in public transportation. It's like comparing apples and, well, other delicious fruits.
That said, the US has a relatively low tax burden compared to other developed nations. We pay less in taxes as a percentage of our income than folks in many European countries.
But here's the catch. We also get less in return. Our social safety net isn't as robust, and our public services, while decent, aren't always top-notch. It's like opting for the basic cable package while your neighbors are binge-watching everything in glorious HD.
So, while we might pay less in taxes up front, we often end up shelling out more for things like healthcare and education. It's all about trade-offs, folks. Taxes are one of the most hotly debated topics in American politics, with each side of the aisle having very different views on how much we should pay and what those taxes should fund.
On one hand, you have folks who believe in lower taxes and smaller government. They argue that people should keep more of their hard-earned money, and that too much government intervention stifles economic growth.
On the other hand, there are those who advocate for higher taxes on the wealthy and increased government spending on social programs. They believe that a more equitable distribution of wealth can lead to a fairer, more just society.
It's a balancing act, trying to find the sweet spot where taxes are fair, but also sufficient to fund the programs that keep our society running smoothly.
And let's not forget, every tax policy has its winners and losers. The key is to stay informed and engaged because at the end of the day, these decisions impact all of us.
So, whether you're a fan of big government or small, understanding the ins and outs of our tax system is crucial. After all, it's your money on the line.
And remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about taxes, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this complex landscape and maybe even keep a little more of your hard-earned dough.
You see, the wealthy have a lot of tools at their disposal to minimize their tax burden. From offshore accounts to complex trusts, there are numerous strategies that can be employed.
And these strategies, while often legal, can create a significant disparity in the tax burden between the wealthy and the average citizen.
There are several ways the average American can reduce their tax liability. For instance, making use of tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs and 401ks can be a great start.
Additionally, taking advantage of deductions and credits, such as those for education or energy-efficient home improvements, can also make a big difference.
Taxes can feel like a necessary evil, something we just have to endure, but they fund essential services like schools, roads, and emergency services.
In Europe, we often see taxes as a tool for good, providing healthcare and social services that benefit everyone. It's a different perspective, but one worth considering.
Indeed, the debate over taxes is complex, with valid points on both sides. What remains clear is that taxes are an integral part of how societies function. As we've seen, taxation is a multifaceted issue that impacts us all in various ways. Understanding the intricacies can empower us to navigate the system more effectively and advocate for a fairer, more equitable approach. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of taxes.